Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Fractality here. Just getting into the week of June 5th to 9th, and just gonna do a little bit of discussion about my expectations on the market. As far as I can tell, it's perhaps a little less clear, I would say, than 2 weeks ago, but I do have opinions. Um, but of course, they can be invalidated, so I'll just talk you through what I'm seeing and we'll just see how the week unfolds. I do feel like it'll be a little clearer maybe on Wednesday, Thursday, but nevertheless, let's just go ahead and get into it. We can see this is the dollar daily chart. We retraced the expansion into that discount fair value gap, and now we're currently coming off of it nicely, so coming off the retracement. My general expectation is that we will continue higher at least to 104.7, if not further, but that remains to be seen. First, we need to get up there. And I'm okay saying I'm bullish, but I'm also a little bit hesitant because of how inefficient this move has been. That being said, this was inefficient and it came back up, so maybe this is to be considered balanced. I'm sure ICT would say it is, but it's always a bit scary to be longing something when there's like huge imbalances below the marketplace. So just playing it one level at a time, and what I mean is, if we show strength, then we'll go here, and if we show more strength, then we'll go here, that kind of thing. But if we start failing, then again, I'm gonna need a real strong market structure shift back to the upside before I am comfortable going long. Okay? So that's roughly it. And then in terms of what I expect for like today, Monday, I at least expect us to raid these lows, possibly on ISM news. That's in 3 hours from now. Well, you won't be seeing this immediately, but 10 o'clock New York time, ISM red news. We'll see some activity. What I'm hoping is a very simple raid, an entry for me, and then we keep going higher. But I really don't know if that's what's going to happen or not. And so let's look at some other markets. We've got Euro. It's it's a reflection of the dollar, but it's pretty much my same feeling. We might see. It's a question of, do we want to. So as you can see, we like did a retracement and we failed, right? So we might want to come up to this 4-hour gap, fail and go lower. We might just go higher. I don't know. But these are just different scenarios, and I guess the haters like to hate on people who give scenarios, but it's kind of dumb because that's the only way to trade. I mean, you really just have to react to the market. I mean, you have expectations, but you never. Yeah. I mean, if it goes up here, it can either fail, and then I'll be looking for shorts, or it can keep going higher if it doesn't fail, and that's it. I mean, that's how trading works, people. So, anyways, GU is a little like more convincingly bearish, just because how close it is to this low resistance liquidity run, these lows here, and so it might be better to short GU. In terms of like there's still the question of like, was this move higher bullish, right? Like, is that a break in structure? We still have equal highs. Is this still bullish? I don't know. I told you my expectations, but that's why I said like it's a little less clear, right? Because we do have this imbalance here. That being said, If it doesn't turn bullish, maybe that was a breakaway gap, and we're gonna go a lot lower. Who knows? All right. Aussie dollar. Just taking a look here. I don't have a call for Aussie dollar, but I'll just move on to New Zealand dollar. Again, I don't know. These are just the levels to watch. I really don't have a call. You're either looking at the liquidity below or above the marketplace. Even on the 4 hour, I mean, it looks weak on 4 hour, I would say, at least. This is your shift. That's your shift. And on the red news, you know, if we see the scenario where dollar goes for those equal lows, we might see New Zealand come up to these highs. So I'll set an alert here. Come up to this 4 hour fair value gap. And then you'd go to like 15-minute and see if it shifts lower. But I mean, God, it's such a tough call. But it could be nice, you know. If that's what happens, then that means this is a market maker model waiting to happen, right? Blah, blah, blah. You know, that kind of thing. It's only one possibility. It's either a market maker model that's going to go lower, or it's the kind of thing that's retracing to discount and then it's going to go higher. I realize I'm repeating myself. Now, I would say that dollar yen is a little more clear, which could be helping out dollar, but that at the same time, dollar yen does tend to have a mind of its own sometimes. Like it can go higher, even if dollar is consolidating. But by all means, it seems like it's still strong. So we retraced this last week, I guess. We retraced this whole move higher, and then we broke structure bullish after retracing. And now it looks like we want to go for 140.927 and then possibly these higher time frame levels. So that's what I would expect that. But all you can really, in my experience, all you can really expect is this external level. And it can reject this hard. Like I've seen markets just turn on the spot after hitting that external level. All the time, happens all the time, all time frames, but yeah. And so that helps a bit with bias when you look at GU, you look at dollar yen, you look at dollar. Those all are sort of agreeing, which is nice. You know, you want that agreement across the market. And then if you look at the metals, sorry, it's a bit messy, but actually I can delete this one. So this is a weekly fair value gap here. As you can see, right, weekly fair value gap, and then I just refined it to the daily one as well. But so we retraced, right? Let's look at what happened, right? We went all the way up here, took out 2022 high, expanded lower. We then retraced that expansion and failed. Okay, so I do expect it to go lower. So that's also agreeing with the dollar ideas. Now the question is, where's my entry? Like, where do you get in? Well, you just have to wait and see. You know, it's tough. It's a bit tough right now to know where to get in. Does it want to retrace this 4 hour, these gaps here, or does it want to just keep going? It looks pretty heavy, right? And we're below 50%, so you can start seeing those. Parabolic. No, that's not the right word. You can just see those fast moves, right? To where it just goes without retracing from this point on. So, and then platinum, still heavy in my opinion. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, so I won't repeat myself. But it looks heavy like on a big time frame, so it's very easy to just assume that any market structure shift that turns bearish is just going to keep going lower. We did a nice retracement here where we took out liquidity, which is great. And so now it's a matter of possibly finding a short entry, which this looks really choppy. So I think probably what will happen is ISM is just going to send this one way. Might not get an entry on platinum. And then copper. For me, copper, last ditch chance to go lower would be now, after we've retraced this into that premium fair value gap. You go down to 4 hour, we got the shift lower. It's like YouTube model, right? Now we're retracing that shift, so again, this really is just like the YouTube model. And this 1 hour fair value gap would be interesting. The only pain in the butt is that copper is not offered on FTMO. So I'm sad about that. And then what happened with oil, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I feel like I did. I hope I did. I said we were consolidating, and then if we rate and fail the high, we'd go for the low, and that's what we did. But now it's going crazy, and you can't read it. I don't think you can read this at all, because we're just taking out liquidity, and I don't see any kind of directional premise. So long as it's in this range, it's really tough, and that's fine. Now indices are pretty clear. I think indices are very likely to go higher. I mean, you got NASDAQ and ES finally in agreement, and it's seasonally bullish. Delete all this. It's getting on my nerves. Right, so we're digging into this weekly gap, and next on NASDAQ will be up here, potentially. Actually, probably the wick is next. This is on the weekly. I wonder what daily looks like. I don't know. Somewhere up here, potentially. ES somewhere up here as well, but the question you have to ask yourself is what's the weekly profile going to be? Are we going to just go straight up there for Monday? Or are we going to maybe pause, consolidate, engineer liquidity, take out the liquidity, then go higher? Are we going to go higher, then reject it, and have kind of a down week? You know what I'm saying? Like, you just can't know. You really can't know. So you have to wait for the opportunities as they present themselves. And that's the way it is. That's it. That's all I've got. I don't know about Bitcoin. See. Yeah, I don't know. I don't trade Bitcoin, sadly. Okay, so that's it. 12 minutes. I'll wrap it up. Hope this is helpful. Let's see what happens. I'm curious to see what ISM does to the market today. Hopefully it gives us a good trade, because it's been really ugly so far for Monday. All right, cheers.